Am I the asshole for selling my brother Bo's old laptop and a bunch of other stuff he left at my place after 2 years of him not having contact with me or asking about it? So I, 27M, and here's what happened. I've had Bo staying at my place on and off since we were kids, but as we got older and went our separate ways, the visits became less frequent. He'd drop by occasionally to borrow some cash or ask for advice, but then he just stopped showing up altogether. 2 years ago, he showed up at my doorstep with a bunch of boxes and said he was moving out. I was surprised, but I helped him carry his stuff to the car and wished him well. After that, I had no contact with Bo whatsoever. No calls, no texts, nothing. It's like he just vanished into thin air. Meanwhile, I've been using my place as a sort of storage unit for all sorts of stuff over the years: books, clothes, random knickknacks. The laptop was just one of many things that had accumulated. About 6 months ago, I started getting some bills in the mail from Bo's bank and credit card companies. It turns out he'd left a bunch of debt behind when he moved out, including a significant amount of money on his laptop, which I assumed was probably still there since he didn't ask me to get rid of it. So, I looked around my place and sure enough, the laptop was sitting in one corner, covered in dust. I decided to clean it out and make some cash by selling the old stuff online. The laptop went for $150, and the other items, a bunch of old video games, some used books, and a few random knickknacks, added up to another $200. I thought to myself, hey, Bo's got no claim to this stuff, he can just deal with it. I posted the laptop online for sale through Adi's Facebook group. We met in high school and she's been a great friend since, and one of our mutual friends Jade showed interest in buying it. We arranged to meet up at my place and I handed over the laptop, cash, and a few other items he wanted. Now, Bo's called me out of the blue. I was surprised, but not entirely shocked, and is telling me that I'm just being greedy and that I should have contacted him before selling his stuff. He also claimed that Adiz told him about the sale and that Jade is a friend of ours from high school who's actually been struggling financially. Am I the asshole?
Am I the asshole for having my family member, Olive, escorted out of my wedding because she showed up in a white wedding dress? So I, 27F, and here's what happened. I had been planning my special day with Vince for months, and everything was going according to plan. The venue was set, the caterer was booked, and all my bridesmaids were ready to go. But just as things were starting to wind down, I saw Olive walking towards me, wearing a stunning white wedding dress that looked like it belonged on a runway. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. I had explicitly told my family not to wear white to the wedding, and yet here was my aunt, looking like she just stepped out of a bridal magazine. I tried to stay calm and approach her, but when I saw how uncomfortable she looked trying to hide the dress, I knew I had to act fast. Vince came over and asked Olive what she was doing there, and she explained that she had thought it would be fun to wear white as a surprise for me. I tried to explain to Olive that wearing white wasn't just about her, it was about respecting the tradition of not upstaging me on my big day. But she didn't seem to care, and when I told her that if she was going to do something so reckless, she would have to leave. Vince stood by me and helped me escort Olive out of the venue, which was already starting to get a little rowdy with all the guests. As we watched Olive being led away by security, she shouted, "This is so unfair, and I just wanted to celebrate with you." But I could tell she knew she had overstepped. The whole thing left me feeling mortified and a little shaken. I know my family can be eccentric sometimes, but this was just ridiculous. Am I the asshole for having Olive escorted out of my wedding?
Am I the asshole for being really hurt and frustrated when my friend group excluded me from a trip that cost $1,000? So I, 23F, and here's what happened. I've been friends with Imani, Jasper, and Indigo since college, and we always make it a point to hang out together at least once a month. Last weekend, they asked me if I wanted to join them for a camping trip in the mountains, which sounded like so much fun. I said yes, and we started making plans. However, when Monday rolled around and everyone was posting photos of their amazing time on social media, I realized that I had been left off the guest list. At first, I didn't think much of it, assuming they must have forgotten or something. But when I saw that they were all laughing and having a blast together, while I was stuck at home feeling sad and left out, I started to feel really hurt. I messaged Imani as soon as possible, asking her why I hadn't been included in the trip. She told me that we had just gotten caught up in planning and hadn't meant to leave me out, but that they were all having too much fun together to think of me right then. When I pressed for more details, she said that Jasper and Indigo had made a spontaneous decision to invite someone else at the last minute, and it was too late to change plans. I have to admit, I was really annoyed when I found out how much money I would be missing out on if I had joined them. $1,000 is a lot of money, and it's not like I could afford to spend that kind of cash without some serious planning and saving first. But at the same time, I felt like my friendship with these people was more than just about having fun. It was about trusting each other and being included. Am I the asshole for feeling this way?
Am I the asshole for telling my roommate that I'm not renewing our lease after he spent all of our savings on a huge gaming console and barely contributed to rent for months? So I, 23M, and Bianca, also 23M, been roommates for 2 years, just found out that we're going to have to move out. We had agreed on paying $800 per month in rent, but last year Bianca got a new job and started raking it in. He decided to spend all of our savings, $5,000, on this huge gaming console he'd been wanting for months. Meanwhile, I was still working part-time jobs just to make ends meet and barely had enough money for my own expenses. We'd talked about our finances a few times before, but I guess he didn't think it would be a big deal. Anyway, when we sat down to discuss the lease renewal, I told him that I'm not going to renew. He seemed really surprised, like he thought we'd just magically come up with another $800 per month. I explained how his gaming console spending had affected our finances and why I couldn't afford it anymore. He got a bit defensive, saying I was being unreasonable and that he'd been making sacrifices too, like giving up his social life. But the thing is, we've always been pretty straightforward about our expenses. He's been living off my money for months, and now he expects me to foot the bill again? No thanks. I told him that if he wants to keep the console, he can sell it or give it away himself, but I'm not contributing to the lease anymore. Bianca's all upset with me because I let him down, but honestly, I feel like I've been holding on too tight here. He's an adult, he should be able to handle his own finances. Am I the asshole?